Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Outdoor Chat. We come to you every weekday on outdoorchat.us and simulcast over on YouTube. We go over everything to be encountered in the great outdoors, including our outdoor adventures, critters, vehicles, and much, much more. We have hosts. We got Bob coming in from Canada.
Hey, I wish I was down there right now because it's cold up here. Glad to be on the show.
Yeah, we just are breaking the 70s around. So yeah, we got Pete coming in from Tucson.
Hey, happy Monday, everybody.
And I am Jimmy coming in from Apache Junction or the Phoenix Valley, whatever you want to call it. Today is Monday. We will be talking about, let's see here, for our adventures, photography, sightseeing. We will have our outdoor topic, which will be historic. Our book of the day, critter, which we'll talk about pets, and places to visit. So let's just jump right into it. But before we do, quick quiz. Wanted to try this out here and see how it went. So the quiz question, we will be asking it and answering on Mondays. So obviously we didn't do one last week. So this week we will just be asking. So the quiz question is, from the chat last Monday, what was our critter for that chat? So from the chat last Monday, what was our critter from that chat? And we will be answering again on Monday, January 8th, I believe. So
tell us, Pete, what kind of wonderful phantasmagorical prizes might the winner of this quiz get?
Hold on. This is going to be going live on the 8th. So we'll be looking for the answer by the 15th. You can email us at gearwebsites@gmail.com before the 15th, or actually before the 12th, right? Before Friday the 12th, this Friday.
right.
So that we can get the answer in, and then we'll announce the winner on the 15th. The prize will be stuff that we've accumulated in our travels. Bob's been down to Arizona a few times, and Jimmy and I have gone out with the friends from Phoenix to go places, and we've got things like menus and business cards from some of the restaurants we've been to that we can recommend that we liked, as well as some souvenirs and stuff, and I want to say treasures, trinkets that we found like out in the desert. So we'll when we get a winner, we'll do a YouTube video or an Instagram or something to show what we're sending them, but it'll be a random stuff. It's not just a off-the-shelf type of prize.
Oh, very cool. So it'll be very much part of Arizona in a way. Arizona-centric?
I guess so. Or maybe it's, we've been to other places too. We've been to New Mexico and Colorado and Nevada. So hopefully we'll be in California next time you come down. So someplace from outside the U.S.
Cool.
It'll be outdoorsy. That'll be a guaranteed.
There you go.
So that will take us into the show. Hopefully that's something that we can get into here. And let's see. Today's show, we will be starting off with adventures, photography, and sightseeing. This is Arizona Game Trail cameras. So once again, remind everybody about the website, outdoorchat.us. We'll be building up stuff that we talk about on the podcast. The podcast also will be up there. And this is one of the topics on there. So Arizona Game Trail cameras. I've never actually used one of these before. I've seen some footage from them, but stuff like that, but I've never had one or owned one. So I don't know if you guys have much experience with that.
I haven't. There's a lot of my friends using just to scope out hunting areas up here anyway. I think that could be some pretty interesting stuff because you leave the camera there, so there's humans around, so you're going to get real candid pictures of the critters that run around.
Yeah, so what we're talking about are ruggedized cameras that are camouflaged and meant to be left in place. Like Bob said, so they're
Right.
called trail cameras because typically, as a hunter, we're getting weird feedback. You guys hearing that? Oh, you as a hunter, you'd put them out on areas you think you might find critters, or if you're managing populations, the departments of wildlife and stuff will use these, of course, to monitor population movements and migrations and things like that. Sometimes they're used by people as surveillance for vandalism or that kind of thing. And again, they're camouflage, so they hide on a tree or in the bushes or something real well. They're ruggedized, so they're weatherproof. It looks like, just looking at the pictures here, some of them have antennas. So I'm guessing some of them are Wi-Fi or something, so you can maybe even cellular, so you don't have to go out and actually go to the camera. I would imagine having a live feed from a camera might be good too if it's a vandalism type of thing, because you'll know when the camera gets abused or found, right? Because it's offline. But anyway, we're talking about those types of cameras and what you can find with them. In Arizona specifically, I don't know if there's laws about putting up trail cameras, but typically they're meant to be out there for a while. Like you put them out and you leave them out for days or weeks, right? And they've got a battery and a camera, and they sometimes infrared, usually infrared, but then like either a heat or motion sensor, depending on the camera probably, and what the application is going to be. So they'll be triggered by a critter walking by, and ideally, I guess they're quiet, so the critter doesn't hear them making any noise. Of course, a digital camera doesn't need to make any noise, and you get these very candid, like Bob said, pictures of animals that aren't distracted or on alert. And one of the neat things I've always thought about them is we got pictures of these leopards. Came up from Mexico, and those had always been speculated. Was this evidence of a leopard as opposed to a mountain lion? And there was some game cameras from southern Arizona that took these pictures. Looks like back in 16 even. So I know that the first time I heard evidence of the jaguars and the leopards were earlier in the 2000s.
That's really interesting. I never knew that they had leopards there.
I'm in Mexico, and they do come up. Historically, their reign, or their, what do you call it? Their territory came up this far, but with hunting and cows, basically, everybody ran them out. But then you can use them for other things, like taking pictures of people on hikes and mountain biking and stuff. You could use them as a kind of like instead of a GoPro, right? Because they're rugged and everything. I think they'd be, at least it seems like it'd be a good thing. You could set it up on a trail, like I'm looking at this one here. If you're driving bikes or something, or hiking even, you set it up on a trail where you think you're going to get a good panoramic view of the, representative view of the area you're in, or some landmark or something, and then just walk past it. Now you don't have to have somebody holding your camera for you and all that. You set it up ahead of time, walk down the trail, walk back towards it, you trigger it, and you got yourself like a GoPro camera.
Oh, that's kind of a neat idea. Yeah, especially be cool if you're like dirt bike and you find a nice berm. Now, is that not a picture of a Sasquatch?
Dude, I don't know why there's so many pictures of like sports in here. What are you talking about? This thing here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that other one next to it.
It's fake. This here is like a javelina.
Oh.
I don't know anybody would think that's a Sasquatch. It's a javelina.
Look at the eyeball. Man.
Yeah. But yeah, one of my buddies that I met at the gun shop down here, at the local place down here, he had one of them setups, and I guess the way that he had the cellular set up is that it would actually send him notification. Like he would turn it on, obviously, when he was hunting or whatever, and it would send him notifications when it was a motion sensor thing. So whenever it went off, it would send his phone some kind of a notification or something like that. And I thought those type of things were really neat, and I guess wasn't that expensive, but I couldn't afford nothing like that. That's crazy.
Well, that's the thing. I don't think they are really expensive for just an inexpensive one. I mean, for no
frills. $80, $150. You can get one, I think, that will actually send you the picture it took.
Oh, really? That's neat.
That cheap?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're not that expensive. I know the guys here use them all the time.
Yeah, I just went to this one for $79. It says wireless, and turn the trail, surveillance, records 1080p. Has a GPS in it. Supports email, so I guess it emails them to you.
Yeah. See, the thing with them is, what I've heard from the guys I know that use them is, they said it's a bit like having a fish finder. It'll show you what's there, but it's certainly not going to guarantee you're going to get there when it's there. You know, it's like with a fish finder, you can see all these fish, but that ain't going to make them bite. And it's kind of like that with a game trail cam. Is that, you know, you'll see that there's big animals, big bucks around and stuff, but that doesn't mean that they're going to be around when you're there, particularly. So yeah, they're kind of a teaser, but I think they're really neat, if for nothing else, just for getting real candid pictures of animals in their natural habitat. So definitely,
very much.
yeah, definitely something to think about for people. So on that, I think we've kind of covered that enough.
Yeah, so if we're going to go into the next segment, we want to take a break to try to pay for the show, right? So we have a store set up. It's gearwebsites.com, and everybody's welcome to check it out. We have items there that are logo items for some of our projects online, as well as some Arizona-themed projects. So if you go to gearwebsites.com, you'll find a section here for Arizona. And today we are featuring the Arizona flag patch, which is basically the state of Arizona's flag. However, it's in subdued, I guess, desert colors. Somebody had made one of these a long time ago, and I don't think they were a resident of Arizona, because they did it in 3 colors, the base color and then 2 color stripes, and then they did the star in one of the colors of the stripes, and it looked wrong and horrible. So one of the first patches that we did was a logo patch for our YouTube, and as soon as we figured out the process of making an embroidered patch, our first production patch was the Arizona state flag in these subdued colors. We've sold out of that one years ago, and other people have figured out that having it in the true 4-color pattern has, sold better. So others have taken it on, and we're not, in the business of selling every Arizona flag or nothing. But we did do a second run in PVC. So it's the rubberized patches that if you get them wet or muddy or something, you can just wipe them right off. A lot of people prefer this tile because they don't get, they don't absorb any stains or mud or any of that kind of stuff. But they're also nice crisp color because they're not sewn. There's, no irregularities. Anyway, these are the PVC patches, and we have them in the subdued colors in a 4-color pattern. And these are available on the Gear website store. They're $12, and that's shipped. And we do appreciate people that want to support our podcast here and the websites and the other things that we do with purchases from the store. Okay.
Absolutely. Let's see here. I'm sorry about that. Trying to get used to these this new headset. It has a mute button on the cord. Anyway, but yeah, very neat. I know I have a couple of those myself. But anyway, that'll take us into spooky ghost towns for our historic outdoor topic. I've been through a couple actually, literally only a couple. Yeah, Tombstone down here. I guess you can consider that ghost town. And then we have in Globe, they have an old mining ghost town, which is pretty cool. So
I wouldn't. I mean, those are old towns or whatever, but we still have actual ghost towns in Arizona. So I think a ghost town, I think of an actual place that's abandoned, right? That still exists, still hasn't fallen apart, but is no longer, I guess, owned by anyone. It's just neglected. And here's some photos of some of the years ago, what some of them look like. A lot of these are old Tucson, but you'll find places like this just out in the middle of nowhere as you drive around or go hunting or just maybe on bicycles, I guess, or just walking around. Yeah, if that's your headset, we're getting a echo feedback or whatever. So that's what I think of when I think of ghost towns. There's some places where you'll find the jails, because the jails were usually made out of bricks and whatnot. So they stood up where the wooden stuff around them fell apart. Sometimes there's like a jail and a couple of foundations out there. And well, fewer and fewer of them are just discoverable. Like you're going to just find one. I guess you could find one accidentally if you didn't pay attention, but I was gonna say for the most part they're mapped out. You can go to various websites or even books that are written, and they'll take you to some of them some of them are really tough to find. If there's nothing left, if it was a completely wooden town, you know, you will only know that it was there by someone directing you to it, and then once you take a look at maybe some photographs with the old town with the hills in the background, you can tell that you're at that location where the photograph was taken because of the hills in the background, but the place is gone. Other places you'll find mines and the residue from the mines. Even if the stuff is gone for scrap or salvage or treasures or whatever, very rarely do people scoop all the dirt back into the mine shaft, right? So you're going to find the scars from mining places, and if you search around the scars, a lot of times you'll find what could have been. It's hard to know what's the difference between a camp and a town, I guess. But that's what I think of when I think of the ghost towns, is the actual fun part of going out into the deserts and the mountains and discovering those kind of large camps that had come and gone over the probably this 100 years ago.
That's something I haven't had an opportunity to do yet when I've been down, and I'd really like to. I mean, I really like the idea of going out into those kind of wild areas and finding places that, at one time were maybe a booming little town or camp for silver or gold, and just being able to look around at what's left. It's I don't know. I've just always been intrigued by that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, and it's just such a neat experience. Like this one up here was just this little building. It might be from the 30s or 40s even, and it's just a little town that exhausted whatever resource was there, or something else was bigger next door, and everybody just went there instead. But yeah, going out, and usually we don't go out to look for them. There must be people that go out and do it. Here's one of these books we were talking about, Arizona Ghost Towns and Mining Camps. Maybe we can link to that one in the description. But we always discover them just not even hunting, just going out. Maybe we quote unquote were scouting, but really we were just out driving around the desert, seeing where roads went, seeing if we could find a new place that we hadn't been before. And like say, you'll find something, and that's where it's neat. Like you'll just find a side of a hill like this, and then as you're farting around, you find out, oh, there's 3 or 4 foundations here. There must have been something going on. You turn around the corner and there's like a scar from a mine or something. And then you stand there and you think about it. We got out there in a car and it took us maybe a couple hours. But think about back in the day. I mean, that was probably more than a day's drive or a day's horseback ride, intentionally.
Yeah, you're not going to cover more than about 20 miles a day on horseback.
Yeah, so these places are, a good day's effort just to get your stuff and your body out there. And then you got to keep a horse going. You got to keep a mule going while you're out there. All the water, we got water a minute away. They had to, I can't even imagine that some of the determination and stubbornness it would have taken to do this stuff back in those days.
Now, you do have to exercise some caution in some of these areas, right? Because of the mines and that?
Oh yeah, you can die quite easily. If there's like just a big hole, you can just be walking along and somebody dug a giant hole, you fall into it and die.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's like, as a kind of precautionary warning, keep your eyes open, as well as, I mean, there's going to be critters up there that could possibly cause you some damage. So yeah,
maybe if you fell into a hole and went unconscious, and I don't know, even then, I don't think critters go out and bite people for no reason. Maybe if you stepped on something.
Yeah, if you step on a snake or something. So yeah, especially if you got your pets with you, that's one thing to be careful of. But
that's for sure. Dogs don't know what a hole is or how to slip into a mine, and you don't want to get a dog stuck in a mine.
No. Yeah. So yeah, maybe keep your dog on a leash. But with a little bit of caution, these can be just great adventures for the whole family, for sure. How often you get to go see some place that existed 200 years ago and then was abandoned, and this is what the ravages of weather and that and no maintenance can do to them. So interesting, really interesting, and great opportunities for photography.
Oh yeah,
definitely, yeah. Those are neat. All right, so I guess that will take us, let's see here, to our book of the day, which today is Kids, Outdoor Adventure. Another thing to be mindful of when you're out there, watch your kids too. Let's see here. Let me screen share this real fast while we're over here.
448 great things to do in nature before you grow up. I like that.
Yeah, I thought that was really neat. Something that, kind of, I'm not necessarily a bucket list, but a, before you get old list, I guess.
Yeah, seriously, I think there's some things that I take for granted. I guess I'll talk to people with little kids, and they'll be like, "Oh yeah, well, we went canoeing," and they're like, "Oh no, our kid's never even been to a lake." I guess it's not child abuse, but it doesn't make any sense.
Well, yeah, that's got a lot to do with our modern society becoming helicopter parents, but you don't have to be that way. We all survived it.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, this is definitely something neat. Get the kids out there, get them learning some stuff. So, I'm pretty sure the link will be in the description for all that. Let's see here, destination, but you don't have to travel anywhere to find it. So yeah, there's your book of the day.
Yeah, excellent. And tell you, if you want to pick it up, it should be on Amazon, right? Usually.
Yeah, $225 or
Oh,
pages. It's actually less expensive than that. It's 225 pages. It says that it's down to $3.92 used. So yeah,
that's a hell of a heck of a price.
$20 if you want it brand new.
Okay, well, we're going to talk about our critters now. Is this really a critter, though?
Let's see here.
We talk about pets, though. That's the thing. So it's difficult when we're doing a lot of subjects like we do on the website, right? We've got it basically broken down into outdoor stuff like forests and lakes and trails, right? Outdoor. Then we've got adventures, the stuff we do out there, camping, hunting, whatever. Then we've got wildlife. Then we got vehicles. Vehicles is pretty obvious, right? It's, the vehicles we use to go out and do stuff, and then probably some of the drives and things. But wildlife is where, we wanted to include this stuff. We go out into Arizona and the outdoors in order to see wildlife in its environment, right? But we also want to include pets in there. We all have pets, and we all bring them with us. So we wanted to include that in there too. So it gets called wildlife, or it gets included in our wildlife, but I think it's mainly because we just didn't want to have so many subject headings in our overall sort of, design of the structure of everything. Yeah. So yeah, give us a little bit of leeway there. But so we're not really talking about the house cat as a feral pack animal or whatever they are as a hunter, which could be a whole interesting discussion actually, because don't they say that feral house cats take out most of the birds out there? But we're talking, I think, more like having a house cat, maybe taking it with you on adventures, cat versus a dog for road trips, that kind of thing, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Well, there are a lot of people out there, especially if they're RVing, that will take their cats with them. And some cats travel really well. I think it depends on how soon you start traveling with them, how young they are when you start. But I've seen people with older cats that went from being an indoor, except stayed in the house, to traveling in an RV and was just fine with it. As far as they were concerned, they were just in a smaller house that moved. And there's other people that have house cats that will, or cats that will just quite happily go out on a leash and stuff like that. I mean, they're rather more rare, but yeah. So yeah, a house cat can travel with you. I mean, don't just think because you got a cat you can't take it with you.
I've definitely had a cats that'll travel, but I've had cats that hate it. But
yeah. But a cat is also one of those pets that you can leave at home for a few days.
Yeah, they'll live. I mean, that's the thing. I'm not a huge cat person myself, but I mean, they do have that whole, they'll kill the critters that are around the house type of thing, mice and, birds and that kind of stuff. And I don't know. I guess they could be handy to have around.
Well, I like the idea if you're in an RV, and having a dog might be a pain. If you're older or whatever, if you're just trying to do a lot of stuff, and then like Bob's saying, you got to be aware of that dog. If you're in an RV, again, you can leave that cat in the RV for a day or two easy. Before you really have to be concerned, then you could always have somebody check in on it. And then you can say, hey, let me park my RV in front of your place, watch my cat for me. It's a lot easier than saying, hey, take my cat into your house, right, and watch it for me.
Yeah.
But and then I think, just for being on the road and having a little critter for all the companionship a critter offers you, right, would be fairly low maintenance. But my concern with a cat would be it booking out every time you open the door. The right kind of cat who likes your RV and doesn't want to leave, I guess would be great. But how do you know when you're getting a kitten that it isn't going to be that skittish one that as soon as you open the door and the 3 states over, there's a cat gone.
And then once it's out there and run a couple of 100 feet, it's like, where the heck am I?
Yeah, and then you got to feel bad that you left a cat go and it's potentially in 3 states over, and that part of it drives me nuts. I don't know if I could deal with it. I think it would be more like if you had a cat and it was of the temperament, then of course. But I don't think I'd try to force a cat to be a road trip cat.
No. Oh, yeah, that would be the thing. It depends on the temperament of the cat completely. Unlike a dog that you can actually train to be obedient, you can't do that with a cat.
I mean, yeah, number one, there's few dogs anymore or a few dogs ever that don't want to do what you want to do. But dog doesn't have no choice. It does what you want to do. Cats will do it, but then they'll immediately leave as soon as they don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was our critter for the day, a pet.
House cats.
Yeah. So let's move on to our restaurant. It is Monday, so we'll be moving on to our restaurant here. And this one is a little different. The Cutting Board Bakery and Cafe. I haven't been here, but I am somewhat interested. This is obviously, as you can see, a vegan restaurant. They have plant-based stuff over there, cuisine menu. The people here, I was reading up a little bit about them. They're Mesa residents and doing healthy stuff, healthy lifestyle. I guess a lot of their stuff is local that they get. So seems like a pretty neat place. Me, myself, personally, never ever thought that I would eat any kind of vegan stuff or weird stuff. Like we were talking about last week, the Indian food and stuff. So I mean, I've had my eyes opened a lot of, or I guess tried new experiences, whatever you want to call it, out here in Arizona. So definitely a place that looks interesting.
Yeah, well, every once in a while, I don't mind having a salad or fresh vegetables or fresh fruit or something. But yeah, not my personal choice for eating. But like I say, I mean, occasionally, yeah, I do get a craving for a salad or something like that, especially a fruit salad when you're in a hot climate. So yeah, it sounds like it'd be something I would try once in a while, or once or twice. So yeah, interesting.
Yeah, I've been to Cutting Board, looking for the pictures I posted over there. But one time when I was visiting Jimmy, I think I went over there, and I think I got a breakfast pizza, which was kind of odd. And I'm looking for a picture of it. They do a lot of the stuff with the tofu smashed up to look like scrambled eggs. So, people that it's just like Italian food or pizza, right? If you go to some pizza place, it's this way. You go to another pizza place, it's still a pizza, but it's, maybe drastically different, really. The real pizza with the bread and the just tomatoes, some basils. I mean, it's technically a pizza. And then you go to Pizza Hut, and then you go to some Chicago style where it's, mostly cheese. So the same way with vegan food, it's just like saying Mexican food or Chinese food. It's just a style of food. So this particular restaurant really likes the pita bread type of stuff and the wheat like tortilla type of breads, and then like chopped up tofus and hummuses and stuff. So I don't know what to call that. It's not really Indian, and it's not anything that I'm familiar with. It's not like Mediterranean or anything. It's sort of a hybrid. And anyway, their pizza was something like that. It was like maybe a pita bread or something with this like scrambled egg type of seasoned and cooked tofu, and then some gravy, almost like what you put on a biscuit type of gravy. So it was definitely something I had never eaten in a meat version ever, and they weren't emulating a meat thing at all. And then they sliced it, so you were eating basically like a pizza pie type of wedge of this stuff. And it was sort of like a sandwich, except an open face sandwich. So it was interesting in many ways. And it was not so much hot for sure, but not like eating a raw thing or cold. It was, it was an interesting experience, and I definitely would go back. I'd say the cost is about medium. It's not the least expensive food you're going to find, but it's not the most expensive stuff I've eaten either.
Yeah, it sounds interesting.
And it's in Mesa, so it's super fancy and clean and everything.
Oh, Well, it's always good when the restaurants are clean.
Well, it's definitely like in a little fancy buy clothes type of boutique type of area, not like let's buy lunch on the way back to the job site.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. So it looks like we're just about ready to wrap it up here. We got a healthy tip for today, I think.
I might. Let's see here. So today's healthy tip. Don't have soft drinks or energy drinks while you're exercising. Stay properly hydrated and drink enough water during your workout. So you want to get all that sugary stuff, that's cool. But when you're working out or exercising or out there hiking or anything, especially when you're outdoors, make sure you stay hydrated. And there's your healthy tip.
Yeah, and that goes along, especially with in a hot climate like Arizona mostly is. It's so important to keep that fluid levels up, both in your vehicle and yourself. And water is far better than most of those syrupy type drinks.
And in your house, cat.
Oh, and in your house, yeah. I think that's the thing. Make sure you've always got a bowl for your pets or some way to water your pet. Just putting water in your hand is very inefficient. You're going to waste a lot of water. So you can buy those little collapsible bowls. They're great for your pets. So on that, I think we're just about ready to finish it up for today. Now, we've been doing like a little odd little fact about Arizona. This one's kind of important for visitors for sure. If you cut down an endangered cactus like the Saguaro cactus, right, in Arizona, you could face up to a year in prison. So yeah, all those old westerns you see where they cut open a cactus. Well, number one, I don't think that works with those kind of cactuses. And number two, that's a year in prison. So be respectful of the environment. Those cactuses they're very hardy cactus, but they do take a long time to grow. So leave them alone. Enjoy the looking at them. Take a picture of them, but for sure don't be abusing them in any way, whether you're shooting at them or cutting, chopping at them or anything like that.
Well, here's the thing too, for somebody that might not have experienced them, they're not like cutting a cucumber. They're not just a big pulpy thing that they kind of look like. There's wood in there. It's mostly wood, and it's like a giant rib cage of wood in there. So unless you've got a chainsaw, you're not just chopping a saguaro down. The worst you'll do is you'll go up to a 200-year-old thing and beat the crap out of the side of it and ruin it and kill it and never even get it chopped down even near. And you'll ruin it for the critters that would have used it for a home, as well as just knocking over a thing that's lived longer than you and your parents and maybe your grandparents.
Yeah, for sure. So be respectful when you're out there. All right.
And aside from that, just real quick, aside from that, that's also illegal.
Oh yeah, that's what I was just saying. You can get up to a year in prison for
Yeah.
for cutting one down. So keep in mind, respect the environment. Keep it for your grandchildren. All right, so I guess that wraps us up for today. I guess we'll see you all tomorrow.